You have to go drive on Sac or
And then he goes into Kaiser.
All right. Okay. Well, we are at time, so I call to order this meeting of the Brookings City Council for Monday, 24th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. If you'll rise, if you're able, for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
I think I realized my own fear, honestly. Will you call the roll?
Councillor Mullenberg.
Here.
Councillor Chilada.
Here.
Councillor Martin. Councillor Bond.
Here.
Mayor Pareda.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, moving on to item D, oral request and communications from the audience. We do have some public comment cards. So before we begin, I'll just read this public comment notice. This is a time for public comment if you have turned in the comment form to the city recorder. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. This is not a time for discussion. Council is not able to provide immediate answers or response. The city manager may direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comment or questions if provided with contact information on the form. Before you make your comment, please state your name and address for the record. So with that, I will start with the first one. We have Teresa Simon.
Hi, I'm Teresa Simon, and I live at 98668 North St. Check River Road. And we're here to talk about Social Security. So we've been here in the past, we've wanted more cooperation, maybe some backup even, as we would say. We've had problems, and the law enforcement isn't able to get down there for a couple of days. You know, so I mean, these are problems. And all we have ever asked was, we were just trying to get cooperation because, as I'm pretty sure you guys are aware, where they're coming in on Social Security bar is the city's land. So there's 11 other property owners that have to put up with people defecating on the river bar, throwing their trash out, camping, all these things. And I mean, we just want cooperation. So I mean, I don't know how it's too much to ask. I know you guys put a camera in. We've asked questions, is the camera in use? Are you guys using the camera? Has anybody been cited? I talked to one of the dispatch ladies and she goes, oh yeah, she goes, there's people out there all hours of the night. Well, why is something being done? You know, why are we not stopping this? I mean, they're just tearing it up, they're, you know, ruining it for everybody. And I don't know how to make this stick, but we need help with it because the city is the way that it is coming in. There's no other way to get on Social Security bar. So it's like having an abusive neighbor. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Can we do a workshop or something going?
As I stated, it's not a time for discussion, but we are taking note of your comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I hear something back on, maybe on my email that I put on there?
Yeah.
We can follow up,
Okay.
for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Fred Simon.
Fred Simon, 98668 North St. Charles River Road. Like my wife said, there's one bad neighbor, everybody's going across it. You guys put cameras up, I thank you for it. But I don't think there's anything been done with the cameras. don't think there's no tickets, no citations, people still tearing up the bar. We got people spending the night. We got a Jiffy Lube down at the end of the bar, so if somebody wants their oil change, there's 2 filters and puddles of oil. So they're changing oil on the end of the bar. And this went on since the cameras. So instead of wasting the money on the camera, why don't we just put automatic gator? Opens at a certain time, closes a certain time. We end up a lot of problems. We're tired of coming here, the county, so we need to go to the state now. Because it's getting old. If it happened behind your guys' house, you wouldn't like it. So why should we have to put up with it? See what I'm saying? And I know you won't like it. At 2 in the morning, get woken up. Because somebody tearing up the river bar. Or down there partying. Did anybody went to the river bar and looked since the last time we were here? Probably not. My phone number's on there, if you want to come take a look, I'll walk you through the river bar and show you all the structure and all the garbage. We're picking up meth stuff out there all the time. I'm tired of cleaning it. You know, all it is a drug haven after dark, partying, tearing up it, you know, kids be kids, but they don't need to be kids back there. There should be some consequences. All that water, all that trash, gets right out to the ocean, and it's on your shores. Do you want that out there? Probably not. That's all we ask for is help. And I'm getting tired of coming to meetings and asking for help, not seeing that. So please try to do something to help us.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Mike.
Hi, my name is Mike, and I live at 98940 North Bank, Checker River Road. As you've heard, many of us have been asking for you to assist us and solve the problem we have on the Social Security bar. We were here about a month and a half ago, and there was some mention of having another workshop. So I'm here to ask if there's been any updates on a new workshop. Has there been any contact with Oregon State Lands to help us solve this? Now, the cameras went up last month. I don't know what they're doing, like Fred and Teresa. They're on the other side of the bar. I'm on the upstream side. So I don't see any difference. Since we were here a month and a half ago, we're still dealing with trespass daily, morning, night, all day long. We're still dealing with trash, food, toilet paper, drug canisters. I guess there's this huffing thing going on with drug canisters. I thought they were little canisters. I saw one that looked like a scuba tank. And there was at least 20 of them out there on one occasion. We've had multiple occasions of these drug deals going on. And it's annoying. It's annoying. Destruction of habitat, like Fred was saying, the oil change. We have almost daily 4x4 speed actions going on, people tearing up the bar and destroying the habitat. River crossing. Since in the last month, I have 6 videos of people crossing the river. That's a pretty good find from what I understand. And we don't have any control over it. Who's taking care of this? Who's protecting the river? Harbor's having a problem with their water supply. I believe they're downstream from us. I don't think they'd be very happy to hear about things going on there and polluting their water. Something's got to be done. So I'm asking for an update on the Social Security bar workshop. And if one is not available, I'm asking the city to implement the recommendations of the last one. I'd like to see it happen. Thanks.
Thank you. Did we receive any more cards? Okay. We'll move on to item E, consent calendar. Are there any comments or questions on the consent calendar? Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Call the question?
Counselor Bond.
Aye.
Counselor Chawada.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Yes.
Mayor Pareda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to item F1, the subject is park fence projects.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This is the bid, we received bids for parks fence projects. These are projects that we discussed during the budget process. We reached out to 3 contractors and received bids from each contractor. The lowest bid was Mountain View Fence for $44,930. Staff recommends awarding these projects to Mountain View Fence. And we're hoping to have these projects completed by November 1, 2026 this year. So it started on pretty quick. Any questions?
Sure, all the fence projects had kind of been reviewed by the Parks and Recs Committee as well.
These were listed in the Parks Capital Improvement Plan, and I got estimates during the budget process, which is what established what the capital ask was going to be.
And you answered my questions. These were aging fences, I guess, right? I had a question for you.
So Bud Cross, the outfield fence, yeah, it hasn't been probably 40 years old.
Okay.
But the bottom of the posts are starting to rot. Easy Manor realignment, we've been trying to work on getting that fence on the property line instead of 10 feet in, because there's the, and then Checo Point Park, the dog park needs one remaining section of fence so the dogs can't get out, which is where the hedge is. And then there's a picnic area that has this decorative plastic fence that's been broken for years, and we're just trying to clean that up, make it look nice. So, yep.
On the option that was on the Mountain View, is that already included in the other bids then?
Yeah, the picnic area you're talking about?
Well, it just says optional add for the Checo Point Park high all black chain link.
Yeah, that's the picnic area.
Okay, and so
It's
the
included
other
all.
bids were there, even though they listed it as an additional option
Yeah,
separately.
exactly. Yeah.
And then even though the other 2 estimates don't line out the costs for traveling, we know that that's already included in their
Right.
bid?
Yep.
Okay.
No question.
Councilman?
Nope.
Is there a motion?
I motion to authorize the city manager to enter an agreement with Mountain View Fence in the amount of $44,930 for various fence projects in parks.
Second.
Call the question?
Counselor Bond.
Aye.
Counselor Chawada.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Yes.
Mayor Pareda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to item F2, Public Works fence projects.
So similarly, these are projects that were listed in capital for Public Works fence projects. Public Works upper yard fence. It's sort of a hodgepodge. There's a lot of little pieces that are in pretty bad shape and some that are in really good shape and parts that are down. So we're trying to just button that facility up security-wise, particularly since we have our new police storage facility in there. We like to try and make sure it's all secure in there. And then the other projects are Mountain Drive. These are 3 pump stations that remain that don't have a fence around them. They're reservoirs, water reservoirs, so we want to secure them. And so that's what these are for.
Also trying to get that done this year?
This one, we're not, I pushed these projects to April of next year. If they can get it done, they have until April to finish it, but it's not as pressing as the parks ones as we're starting to get into play and use of the fields and just scheduling. So, get them ready for next year.
I remember seeing on the tour those pump stations and having that conversation of the necessity to get those added when we went through those areas. And are those the last ones to complete, making sure that all the pump stations have fencing?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone else is secure now. Every other one.
You said there's a must complete by date or some kind of a working days count.
Yeah, this one I set for April 1st, 2027 to have them complete within this fiscal year, and then Parks is November. We're shooting for November. I think the goal is to have Checo Point and Bud Cross done by the November. When Easy Manor isn't really time sensitive, but those two are.
Any more comments or questions? Have a motion?
Move to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Mountain View Fence in the amount of $35,040 for various public works fence projects.
Second.
Call the question?
Counselor Jalata?
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg?
Yes.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Mayor Freda?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to item G, remarks from city manager, councilors, and mayor. Who would like to start?
I can, real quickly, I was just going to say, this last week, we've received approval from USDA to go out with phase 2 of the wastewater collection system. That's part of the big USDA wastewater project itself. So we're, now that we've been approved, we're going to be moving forward and trying to get all of our ducks in a row for that, which is kind of exciting because it's essentially the final piece of the puzzle as far as that project goes. So, and I just have one other quick statement to say. And last week I celebrated my 25th work anniversary in city management, and which, August 11th, 2001 was my first day as an assistant city manager in little old Yukon, Oklahoma. And but I can honestly say of all the cities that I've worked in and helped manage, I couldn't find a better community and a better city at my final stop in my career, and look forward to many more years here. And it's, like I said, it's been a really a true blessing for myself and my family to come to Brookings. Thank you.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. And I want to recognize and appreciate folks showing up today to discuss, again, the Social Security bar. And it sounds like we're due for another workshop on that. So I'm hoping to have an opportunity for that relatively soon. I know it's an issue it's a multi-jurisdictional problem. The city owns only the gate area. The area that the crime is occurring is enforced by the state, not the city, but it sounds like they haven't made much of a presence. And I know there's been potential issues with the county responding as well, because it's in the county's jurisdiction. so it's a multi-pronged problem, and it requires a solution from multiple different entities. I think ideally we would have a workshop that includes all three of those entities to discuss potential solutions. Recognize and hear everything that you guys are saying, and it's not going to be an easy problem to solve, but it sounds like we need to discuss it more. So hopefully some kind of a workshop in the near future with all of the appropriate parties present would be my hope. Anyway.
And to add one more complication to that, the county actually leases the river bar. So, yeah, it's
even more complicated.
It's complicated indeed. Yeah.
The only thing I had to say was I liked the City of Brookings improvement projects press release. Of course, all that information is public here, but it's important to tell people what their tax dollars are doing and things are going on that they may not be aware of here. So I thought that was a great press release.
Council Bond?
I just would like to address one of the members in the audience there that spoke earlier. I know exactly how you feel. For where I live, and the city ended up finally dealing with it. And that was, I had homeless people going through my house, walking through my yard, had all of the things that you described. They weren't changing oil behind Dollar General, but you get the point. And the city got involved in it, and the city finally resolved it. And actually, it was this council under Mayor Peretta and Isaac Hodges that resolved that issue simply with a police presence. And obviously, the Social Security bar issue is more complicated because there's at least 3 law enforcement agencies that would be involved in that area. But we will have a workshop on it, I'm very sure of that, and we'll come up with some form of a solution. But I'm not sure I'm going to have the solution that you're going to want, if you understand where I'm going with it. If we only control the gate area, then maybe that's something we'll have to look into. But again, we'll deal with the workshop.
Well, I want to apologize for misspeaking at the last meeting that we would have the TPAC recommendations tonight, because I failed to take into account the public meeting notice and still had interviews after the public notice came out. So it will be at our next workshop. We had 14 applicants. So there's been a huge response to that and a lot of interviews to hold. And I will tell you, we had some very exciting applicants, and so that's making my recommendation decision quite challenging. But I'm excited for what that new advisory board might look like. I think that it can be a really positive thing for our community, with a lot of great ideas brought forward. So. And then the next thing I wanted to mention is I know city manager sent out the email with the legislative priorities that LOC has put together. You know, obviously us as a council can advocate for other things, but these are what has been identified by the group put together by the cities as a whole, and we get to put in our voice by submitting a one city ballot for what we most want for our community. So in order to do that, though, we need to talk about it publicly. So that would need to be on the September 14th agenda. I don't know, city manager, what your timeline looks like to make sure you have those come in. I would say maybe the 8th. Yeah. To give you enough time. So if everybody can make sure they get those to the city manager on the 8th, what they feel like of those identified, we should support, that would be great. And then we can talk about it and nail down our 5 for voting.
Quick question on that. Is it, are we limited to the items that they prioritized in choosing what we think their priorities should be? Because none of mine aligned with any of those. So personally,
Thanks for saying that, because I was going down that exact road.
So here's what I'll say. Again, like I already said, we can lobby and we can advocate and we can send letters as our local council board. And we could put some suggested alternatives in there. But when you're talking about 241 cities that are all submitting their ideas, you know, they have lobbyists that meet continuously with legislators, and if there's anything in there that we feel like we can support and maybe provide 1 or 2 alternatives, that would be, I think we might not get a really vote on anything they are already planning on tackling if we don't at least identify some that they've already kind of pre-identified.
like a write-in vote, the odds of a success.
Exactly. But I do think it's well worth our time to be really paying attention to what's happening in session and putting together things. Those things evolve very, very quickly, and it's really hard sometimes to get them put out. But those decisions that are made at the state affect our community a lot. And so it's something I've realized over the last few years that is really important for us to pay attention to as much as, I mean, there's something like 3,000 initiatives put out. Like clearly we're never going to be able to pay attention to all of those, and neither can LOC, but yeah.
But that brief ballot paper they had, there is a write-in section.
Yeah.
I think if you want to bring in ideas, let's talk about them. We could put our top 5 that they have on their agenda, and here's we'd like you to also think about this. Maybe it's not this year, maybe it's coming up. But.
Well, and who knows? Other cities might agree and do the same.
Thank you.
So, okay. Well, if there's no further comments or remarks, then we will close at 5:54.